everything, and I'm always begging at the end of it, oh, can I have this, can I have that? So I have the action figure from from the first episode of this season. I have the, what do you call it, the thing that I stabbed Casper with, the shard.
Do you have an Excel spreadsheet of everything you have?
I don't have an Excel spreadsheet, but I do have a little cupboard with everything from all my movies and all my stuff. Like, I'm such a nerd. I go to Comic-Cons, I do all that stuff, so I'm the guy that keeps things and begs to keep everything from sets. So yes, I do have a lot of stuff.
Just wonderful pictures.
The machine gun. You haven't missed it. Yeah, I got it fast.
How did you get that through, how did you get that through customs? Where did you ship it?
Joking, babe.
Oh.
Yeah, they counted every single one of those bad boys.
We're on camera.
Nothing got
We're on
past.
No, I mean, you're gonna bring it back. Come on. Simon, have you?
I'm a nerd writer, so like I have a lot of the Casper sketches.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that's what I kept.
Shamier, I definitely want to talk about season 3 because unlike the first few seasons, this season you're playing someone with PTSD.
Yeah.
You're playing someone who has seizures. As an actor, you just sort of talked about that, but what was it like actually getting in that? It's what is it like playing, Verna and being a cult leader?
I'm a preacher's daughter. So I was raised by a cult leader. Not kidding. Both my parents were ministers. They're both orphans. And they spent their time in the Southwest, Gothic Southwest, where you do exorcisms and all these other things that are metaphysical and otherworldly around Navajo and Hopis and mestizos and German Lutherans thrown into a hot pot. So I feel like in my life, I've been kind of, in a cauldron of a space that was not necessarily just human. We lived in Arizona, up in Flagstaff, and that's where the Lowell's Observatory was. They discovered Pluto. It's a dark city. They look at the stars. We looked at the stars. We laid on the car at night and to cool ourselves off, and shook a root beer soda up and put a pin in it, and then let it come in our mouths, and then looked at the stars. We were looking for our future, looking for other things, signs of life, depending on the kindness of strangers, all those things. And so I have a little piece of that in me, and also music and culture and all those things that I think that we're really starting to realize is what makes us connected. Was represented in the cast, represented in the crew, literally diverse. Everyone on the set was accounted for. It was a very intentional set. And so to me, Verna steps into a space, or at least that character that's played by me, that I understand. Now, I think that she's steeped in grief, deep sorrow, and it turns on her. I don't know if she's right. I didn't make that determination. I just wanted to make her accessible. And there's no doubt that, just like Shamier said, you stay a little isolated, and give yourself a chance to feel and have your own thoughts. But then I also tried very hard to connect to the actors on set, because I need to feel a little bit more, human connection, so I can not be too far gone. It's a long slog. And so I like I said, I just didn't want to get in my own way. I didn't want to overthink it. But I also wanted to be very thoughtful about it. And luckily, I think that my life prepared me, hopefully, to be honest and just sort of say that these things that she was thinking, the way she was thinking and how determined she was, comes out of a deep need before she even lost her sister, I think, to be necessary.
It's interesting because do you think that she realizes how dark the path she's walking down is, or do you think like she's just fully committed? She is, like lost in that pursuit of getting the aliens and to reunite with the loved ones?
Well, I had a chance to talk to Simon beforehand, and he explained her a bit, except he was really open to discussion. And I thought that he was very generous. And so I'm not quite sure what I think. I think that I just took it, I just thought the page would lead me, the story would lead me. She's sad. She's sad. She's in deep sorrow. And she's angry. And also, I think that, however, we don't know who we are till we know who we are. And, that's what I'd like to say is that Verna is very an open and honest character because she's not doing it, I think, out of a sense of just power. She's literally like saying, over there is where paradise is. We're going to meet. I'm going to see my sister. I'm going to make sense out of this. I'm going to come back to something because you've taken everything away from me. And I'm determined to get there. And then you just go like bang out of a cannon and you follow that because that's what he wanted. And so, that's where I was going.
Out episodes 9, the script of episode 9, and without talking specifically, what finding out what might be happening or what would be happening.
Simon was very very nice to let me know that it was coming. I have heard actors say that they opened a script and they found out that way, and there was luckily listen, the way I approach it is I really felt personally that this was Goal's storyline. You know what I mean? And that my character was there in order to reveal something about Goal. And in the way I tried to approach it was how can I, what the choices that I'm making, what does it reveal about Goal, right? And her journey, right? Because in my interpretation of it, this was Goal's storyline, and it was about trust. Could she trust again? You know what I mean? And I felt pretty confident that I was not going to be back for this season. I was very thrilled to know that I had another season because I felt like we told that story for her character, pretty well. And then it was really interesting. What I loved about this season is, you get this happily ever after a movie's over, and then this season kind of was like, nope, you're still married. Right? What do you do now? Right? And now we're 2 years later, and then, what is going on in the story is that, these aliens are metastasizing. Seems nice, everything seems okay, but something's under the surface, right? Same thing in their marriage, right? And these two people who are, who seem to be doing well, there's something that is, my feeling was their character defect was actually agreeability, right? They wanted so badly to be stable with each other that they didn't have respectful conflict with each other. And as happens so many times in a marriage, once things hit the fan, once things hit the fan, it's not a good time to work on your communication style, right? It's not a great time to be like, maybe I have attachment style issues. That's when actually everything's falling apart. And so what I loved about this season is let's just watch these two characters try to build the airplane while it's falling out of the sky, right? They're running, they're trying to stay alive, they're fighting aliens, they're trying to get back to their kids, but also they don't even know if there's something to get back to. They don't even know if there's a thing there. And they're both, I thought it was so beautiful, they're both kind of really nice people, too nice. If they would just argue, if they would just yell at each other and get it out. But there's something about trying to create stability to the point of being dishonest with yourself and ultimately almost ending up in a lie with your partner. And I feel like they ended up in a lie with each other without even intending it. And that moment at the end where they look at each other and they're mystified, what happened, And that's dishonesty with themselves. They couldn't be honest with themselves. And then what I find lovely about the ending of that storyline is they do get honest with each other and they think it's over, right? This moment they've been avoiding is just being truthful with each other. They do it, and then he feels like he's lost her, and then they're like, actually, we're stronger. We're stronger now. And then gets his brains blown out. It's great storytelling, because where does Goal have to go from here, right? Now, where's Goal's character going? And I think it had to happen,
Yeah, like I said, anyone who's filming, please don't post certain things until after the episode airs.
What was I not supposed to say?
No, it's totally fine. Everyone will be very respectful, and we're not posting till after. It's totally cool. So I've gone a little long. I know that everyone, I want to do the poster sign. I just have a few last quick questions, if you guys don't mind. Anyway, what do you want to tease about the finale?
I think things come very full circle for a lot of the characters. I would say maybe that's especially true for Travante, and I would say a lot of our main characters have to face their worst fears in the season finale.
Okay, it's a nice tease. So one of the things I'm so curious about designing I believe it's the Apex aliens, and talk a little about how you guys figured out designing, and also what I'm curious about is when you see a crystal clear alien, it doesn't seem as mean as when you're looking at like a dark alien.
Yeah.
And so why is that?
By design. I mean, I don't know what in our brain is why, but I know that it was something we talked a lot about. Was that this season we wanted to create the sort of the actual aliens, the intelligent, the fully intelligent life version of the aliens. Whereas actually in previous seasons we always talked about those other aliens as sort of bioengineered aliens. And I didn't want them to just look scary. I mean, obviously, like I feel like everybody's been ripping off Ridley's Alien for so long. Even though you can make a scarier looking alien, I wanted it to feel ethereal and kind of beautiful and almost like mesmerizing, like you'd lean toward it, even though you know it was dangerous. And I wanted it to be something that the audience, and specifically Mitski's character, the audience could actually empathize with. That we give them like all these characters in the show. We give the aliens some humanity as well. And one just quick thing I want to say, and it's just like so cool sitting here talking, listening to these guys. We haven't done many things like this for the show, and the having worked in science fiction a lot, the true secret sauce, and it's not so secret, special sauce of this show is the actors. And the care and thought you've heard tonight and you've seen on the episodes they bring to each one of the characters is what makes this show special and unique and human, and I think makes people really committed to it, not because of the action and the spinning cars and the explosions and the things that you can find in a lot of other places. And sometimes you can find it bigger and louder and faster in other places. I think it's actually the patience and the care with which they approach their characters. And they could be sitting up here talking about, a Peter Brook play. It's the same level of thoughtfulness, and yet there are explosions and aliens and imaginary nonsense happening around them. And so it's been cool just sitting up here and listening to them talk about it.
I think I can speak for the audience. Like everything has explosions. The reason you watch a show like this is for the characters.
Yeah.
So something else I wanted to ask, and I know I'm running out of time. I pulled this from press notes. To showcase the horror the characters experience when the aliens manipulate their minds, cinematographer John Joven employed Lens Baby, a line of special camera lenses. Lens Baby combines a simple lens with a bellow or ball and socket mechanism and special effect photography to highlight special areas of an image. Talk a little bit about this, if anyone can.
I mean, you just described it, which is that you can play with the frame so that your eye goes to certain things in the frame. It's not everything's as sort of 2D, 3D as a normal image would be. And so it's like old diopter style photography where 50, 60 years ago with actual film cameras that just used to swing a sort of gauzy lens in front of the actual lens, and it would make your eye go to certain parts of the frame without you even necessarily being conscious of why.
For down the line here, you guys are up here and you're the face of Invasion tonight, but there are so many people behind the scenes that make this show what it is. So for each of you, can you sort of pull a name or like an unsung hero that you want to shine a light on from the crew or somebody who works on the show that you just want to say, give them a shout out?
Audrey Trons was in the audience already. Shout out Audrey, our producer as well. David Witz, I think David Witz, me personally, is one of our producers, but he really is a Tetris master for my schedule at least. He was so gracious of just making sure that not just myself, with a lot of the actors, that we still were able to be there for our families and have other responsibilities, because this is a very demanding show, filming all over the world for long periods of time. So shout out David Witz for just always making sure the ship was moving towards that North Star, pun intended.
I mean, you said it perfectly. I've been treated so well on this show from A to Z, And I always find that comes from the top. You know, it's like, who's the showrunner? Do they really like the talent? Do they really love working with actors? And then everybody that hire from there on down. And so, man, I've just cannot think of an interaction in all of these years that I've been on the show that was unpleasant. We just got taken care of so well.
I had a ball in hair and makeup. That was like a fantastic, fun place to be, have fun. The PAs don't get enough shout out.
That's true.
They are there so early, standing there, knocking at your door, just and always, you know, ready to help. You know, from the simplest bottle of water to whatever you need, and just, you know, staying on their feet. So I just really love them, and set is a really wonderful place to be. It's where I've grown up my entire life. If you ever get a chance to visit one, you probably want to never come back because it's boring. But to me, it's where we live. It's where we learn. It's where we love. It's where we figure things out and maybe even struggle a bit. You come to a set and you're not ready sometime in your life for maybe this challenge right at that moment, and yet if you're called, it's the exact thing you need at that moment in order to get over. And so I'm always game for that, and realizing again, over and over again, that I've been chosen like a lotto winner to do something that we all need to do, which is to tell stories. And so I gotta give a shout out also to Gal, who was so wonderful to me, and Shioli and India and all of them. I just, again, I learned so much. There's such beautiful presence and elegance about these performers, and quietness. And so it's always interesting because a showrunner will choose, you know, his cast, and you wonder why you're in there, and then you see them all, and I said, I must have something in common with them. And since I love them so much, then that's a great thing. And so I'm, you know, glad to be in the mix, I gotta say. But, you know, shout out to all of them, and again, to the people who were in that rain and, you know, every day and never complain. Thank you so much.
An easy one for me is the writer's room. There's just a ton of writers that work on this show, and by a ton I mean 5 or 6 of us, sitting there for months and months and months at a time, you know, coming up with an idea that we think is brilliant and running it down for a week and then throwing it away in a day and starting over. It's a different type of tireless and exhausting. It's not being out in the rain, but it's sitting around, like, you know, eating bad food and spending 7-8 hours to go nowhere, but you actually realize you went to the place you needed to go in order to actually crack the thing the next day. And the faith that you need to have when you're a writer, especially when you're creating something that's, you know, this many hours of storytelling, that faith is something that is easier when you have other people around you who are as blindly insane as you are.
My last question is going to go to Simon. It's an individual. You wrote a screenplay called Here Comes the Flood, which films later this year, I guess. What can you tease people about it, and do you want to maybe mention the small stars that are in the movie?
Sure. It's completely unrelated to Invasion, so I apologize.
Completely different thing.
That's why I'm in New York. It's a movie I wrote. It's actually, other than Invasion, it's the first original thing that I've written in a long time, because I went down the rabbit hole of remakes and adaptations and a lot of other things as a writer. It's a original heist movie, and it stars Denzel Washington and Rob Pattinson and Daisy Edgar Jones. And so we start filming that in Jersey this month.
Yeah, no one you've heard of. So just to let you guys know, so we're gonna do as you guys as I mentioned before, we're doing the poster signing outside, and I will let you know I saw the posters when you guys were watching, and they're really fucking good. They're like thick pieces of paper, like they're really high quality. So like no BS, like you will want one. So if you guys don't mind staying seated, I'm going to ask everyone on the stage to go out so they can get seated. So that way, when you first walk out of the theater and you go towards the right, basically where you checked in and got a ticket, that's where we're going to be. And so if you guys don't mind staying seated, but before we do that, a huge round of applause and thank you to you guys for doing this Q&A tonight. yeah, if you guys don't mind going out to the lobby and grabbing a seat, we will do a little bit of poster signing. The posters are really good, I promise. They're really like, high quality. I'll see you out there in a second. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, I just thought it would be nice. You know what I mean? Oh, you go out there and okay, cool.